right, let's do weather for Weather Geeks on this snowy Friday night across the valley. We'll take a long look at what's going on when I'm recording this video and what we expect for the rest of the night. And we'll do some more speculating on the medium and long range. I think winter fatigue is setting in for a lot of people this week, and it's really going to set in for many next week as it turns even colder. Well, speaking of cold, wow, that was impressive this morning. The sky stayed clear enough overnight last night, and with relatively calm winds and, of course, quite a bit of snow on the ground, that's a recipe for a cold night. We got down to 2 at the Youngstown Warren Airport. I was below 0 at my place. Both my personal weather stations slipped a little below 0 first thing this morning. 1 degree above in New Philly, 4 above in Pittsburgh, and Wheeling bottomed out at 6 this morning. And yesterday morning was our coldest morning in almost a year. Same thing this morning. It's been 361 days since we've been at 2 or lower at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. January 15th of last winter, we hit 0. We haven't had a temperature below 0 since Christmas Eve of 2022. It's been over 2 years now since we've been below the goose egg officially at the airport. All right, it is 7:20 when I'm recording this, and, we have variable conditions throughout the area. In some places, the snow has really gotten going pretty hard over the last half an hour or so and made things real slick. Now, it's been a little lighter up here in Niles, but it's a different story down in Mahoning County. This is Route 224 across from Southern Park Mall, and even though the snow rates have diminished some here, definitely 224 has been snow-covered for a little while, and, I stepped outside on my dinner break after the 6 o'clock news, and here in downtown Youngstown, it was thumping pretty good, and everything was getting a real healthy covering, and certainly roads in downtown Youngstown have been slick. Now, this is an ODOT camera out in western Ohio, kind of along I-71 south and west of Columbus, showing the conditions here in the central and western part of the state. A couple of these camera shots, the road surface not too bad looking, and other times it looks kind of, hairy. This isn't the biggest, most organized snow event in the world, but this system is going to continue to produce some tough travel conditions overnight tonight. 7:21 p.m. and moderate snow is in this stripe right here and down here. It's not doing a whole lot up in northern and central Trumbull County, from Warren County, or from Warren, the city of Warren, on north up towards the Ashtabula line. Snow rates there are pretty light, but it's coming down still at a pretty decent clip in a lot of the rest of the area. It took a little while for the air column above our heads to saturate enough today for the snow to start reaching the ground. We had a lot of virga on the radar this afternoon. It kind of looked like snow when you pulled up the radar on your phone, but it didn't actually start snowing in most places until the 5 o'clock hour, and especially into the 6 o'clock hour this evening. And, the storm continues to make some eastward progress, I should say, and we're going to continue to see this light to moderate snow for the next several hours. And wow, what a mess down in the south today. This is where the storm has been more impactful. They had just an ugly rush hour at Atlanta this morning, up towards South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh. It is a real mess with snow and ice out there this evening. That's where the highest impacts from the storm overall are. That's where winter storm warnings are still out. As far as our snow expectations here locally, here's one model depiction of the hour-by-hour running snow total over the next 18 hours. I think our snow rates can be up to a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch or so per hour in some of these heavier bands. That'll be kind of the exception, though. The rule will be about 1/4 of an inch an hour as far as the snowfall rates for much of the next several hours. And as we get up tomorrow morning, by the time the sun comes up and daybreak arrives, a lot of us are going to see about 2 inches or so worth of fresh snow on the ground, in addition to what's already on the ground. Here's a look at our computer model spread. This will be kind of the final spread we look at in terms of our modeling. And the spread has actually grown a little bit compared to the same time last evening. Some of the modeling, the high-res modeling, is picked up on, kind of the bands tonight not being consistently moderate at all. In fact, there'll be times that the snow is pretty darn light, and so some of the modeling suggests we're under 2 inches. A couple of the models are still up in that 2.5 inch range. I think anything more than 3 would be kind of a surprise at this point. I think a lot of us are going to see, as I mentioned, somewhere in the vicinity of 2 inches worth of fresh snow. Now, there can be a little snow falling from the sky first thing tomorrow morning around daybreak, but probably not much more than flurries. And there can be the occasional passing flurry with a cold, gusty wind on our Saturday. And then as we head towards Sunday, this is going to be a decent day, maybe pretty cloudy to start, but I think there can be some sun before the afternoon is through. Warm front lifts in. Temperatures may actually rise through the 20s Sunday night. but then temperatures might actually fall for a lot of the daylight hours on Monday. Snow showers and flurries will be accompanied by a cold, gusty wind on Monday as those temperatures fall from around 30, which will feel pretty nice first thing in the morning, maybe down to about 20 by the evening hours on our Monday. But the weekend forecast, in summary, 28 on Saturday and 29 on Sunday. Better half of the weekend will certainly be Sunday. Again, best chance for some sun will be as we head into the afternoon. Mentioned this last evening, but just to reiterate, we've got a pretty tenacious cold snap coming for a couple of days next week. Temperatures may fall on Monday, and then no better than 16 Tuesday and 19 Wednesday. Now, that being said, there will be some moderation for a few days at the end of next week and the start of next weekend. But after that, right around MLK Day, right around Inauguration Day, the 20th, that week, the 20th through about the 25th or so, does look pretty cold once again. So any moderating trends are going to be pretty brief in the short term, and I think there could be a winter storm threat coming up in about 9-10 days. Again, right around MLK Day, right as it turns colder again. Sunday the 19th, Monday the 20th, somewhere in that vicinity. There could be a winter storm threat. The 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center shows above average precipitation favored in that 16th through the 20th period. Now, that being said, if you don't have winter fatigue just yet, you'll probably get it by next week. We're looking for signs of change, and I still think there will be some at the end of the month and heading into the month of February. I'm unsure as to the magnitude of any potential warmth in February, but at the very least, it will be less cold, I think, at the end of this month and heading into the month of February. Best case scenario, if you're not a fan of the snow and cold, is February ends up being a pretty darn mild month. But at the very least, I do think it will have a distinctly different flavor than January. January is certainly going to go into the record books as a colder than average month. I would speculate at this point that February will not follow suit. It may be by a small margin, but it may be by a bigger margin as well. I'm not sure of that yet, but again, I'm pretty confident that we are going to see the patterns start to moderate and change at the end of the month, the last few days of January, and heading into February as well. All right, stay tuned on social media this evening. I'll have more updates on the ongoing snow, including road conditions and how much snow we have picked up already and how much we can expect overnight. So make sure you're following me on all the social media outlets. And have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you back here for Weather Geeks on Monday.